All right, welcome back. Now, if you'll bear with me, I want to let the people here on Twitter know that I'm live. I want to share a link with them because I am going to focus on one of the articles that they published, I think around 2 years ago. Yeah, this is 2 years ago. Okay. I'm talking about this article live. Yeah. Now, this is just one of the several articles that I'm going to deal with on this live stream. So please share this video. I'm going to deal with something that's very important. I feel like every live stream is very important. But this one is more important, I think, than most. Because constantly there's new discoveries on this channel. My channel is not an echo chamber by any stretch of the imagination. This is not an echo chamber. We're constantly making new discoveries, not just on this channel, but on every anti-dog platform out there. It might not get documented and categorized as such, but it's constant. And that's part of the reason why, is because it happens so often. But anyway, they published this article in 2021. And it's like the highlight of what I want to deal with on this live stream. Now, they published this horrible article back in 2021. Very disturbing stuff here. And you see the title, Dogs and Kids Are in Sync, Study Shows. Now, the reason I have such a problem with this article is because of where it's coming from. It's coming from psych or phys.org. Now, if you're not aware, this website is owned by the American Institute of Physics. The American Institute of Physics, or AIP. They have a $75 million budget. Their membership includes 120,000 scientists, engineers, educators, and students. It was founded in 1931. Okay, now they claim that this is a non-profit, people. I don't care what they claim. This company, this institution has a lot of money behind it. As you see, a $75 million budget. Okay, this is their headquarters. Okay, it does not look like they are broke. They don't look like they're operating on my budget. So I take articles like this seriously because this is coming from an outlet with as much influence as it gets. This is as big of a platform, credible, reliable platform as it gets. This information is coming from a team of hundreds of thousands of scientists. How can you argue against that? The information is coming from an organization that includes 120,000 scientists, engineers, and educators. Who on earth wouldn't rely on that? And that's why I got a problem with this. If such an institution puts out information, I don't expect to be able to refute it. I better not be able to refute it. You understand that? I expect to be schooled and enlightened in nothing but. Everything that comes out of your mouth needs to be information that I jot down, not that I question. I shouldn't be scratching my head confused at information that comes out of your institution. But that's where this article left me. This article that surfaced in 2021, where they're up here talking about kids and dogs are in sync. People, this is one of the most dangerous articles available anywhere, published during any decade. This one right here is one of the most dangerous. When these organizations, when they get clearance to push dogs onto the public, they refer to stuff like this. Right? Well, you know, the American Institute of Physics published an article 2 years ago that said blah, 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 blah. You know how this nuttery goes. Now look at this dangerous criminal article right here. Oh my goodness. It is an image. Oh man, oh man. It is an image as heartwarming as any. Young children giggling as the family dog climbs all over them and licks their faces. But new research suggests the bond may be more than playful. See what I mean? For this type of nuttery to come from such an institute, this is very dangerous. Already setting the foundation that kids and dogs belong together, that they are made for each other. Goes on. The great news is that this study suggests dogs are paying a lot of attention to the kids that they live with. That comes from a dog behaviorist and professor at Oregon State University. Okay, so that's one of the educators that are a member of the institution. They are responsive to the kids. They're talking about the dogs in many cases. Look at how, vague this is. Listen to the vague language they're using. They're responsive to them and in many cases behaving in synchrony with them. Indicators of positive affiliation and a foundation for building strong bonds. People, they're saying that's indicators of positive affiliation and a foundation for building strong bonds. The fact that the dog pays a lot of attention to them and moves when they move most of the time, they're saying that's indicators of positive affiliation and a foundation. No, it's not. And when you're talking about dogs that they live with, that's simple pack behavior. Dogs get up and follow anything that it views as a member of its pack, whether it be people in the home or other dogs. You look at dogs in packs. One dog gets up, walks, goes somewhere. Yeah, the dog get up and follow. Dog owners talk about this all the time, how their dogs follow them all throughout the house. It's because they're always anticipating food. That's all that is. It ain't rocket science. They get up because they think you're about to go grab something to give them to eat. Okay? But they're trying to project this as some type of magical bond between kids and dogs. Oh boy, indeed, it continues. Dogs may even help children with social development, increasing physical activity, managing anxiety, or providing attachment as family structures change, the researchers said. Once again, people, projecting this idea that dogs help benefit or help to enhance our social development, our intellectual development. This is nonsense. And the only thing they're talking about here is that when you have a dog, you have to walk them. And walking helps to enhance your social and physical development. That's all they're talking about. They reach for straws like with everything. The study recruited 30 youths aged 8 to 17, along with their family dog. Listen to that. So, of course, someone that the dog lives with gets up and walks into the kitchen, the dog's gonna follow him. Ain't nothing deep about that. Look, the children were asked to walk with their off-leash dogs in a standardized way among color-coded tape lines in a large empty room. They videotaped the experiments, analyzing how much time each child and their dog were moving or stationary at the time, what they called activity synchrony, how often they were within 3 feet of each other, proximity, and going in the same direction, orientation. The dogs were synchronized with the children at higher rates than expected. Look at all this mumbo jumbo right here. So they got up and moved when the kids got up, and big deal. Are we supposed to be blown away by that? What we are finding is that kids are very capable of training dogs, and that dogs are paying attention to the kids and can learn from them. Can learn what? To get up and follow them, anticipating food? That doesn't make sense. As nothing in this dog culture makes sense. So I'm just saying, this is pure nuttery. What can dogs learn from kids by getting up and following them every time they get up? It continues. Sometimes we don't give children and dogs enough credit. Our research suggests that with some guidance, we can provide important and positive learning experiences for our kids and our dogs starting at a much earlier age, something that could make a world of difference to the lives of both. There ain't nothing kids gonna learn from no dog getting up and following them. Again, it makes no sense. What are you talking about? The dog is not learning nothing, and the kid is not learning nothing. Stop with this nuttery and this spaced out, zoinked out language. Still, the percentages were lower, blah. Now listen, look at this. One interesting thing we've observed is that dogs are matching their child's behavior less frequently than what we've seen between dogs and adult caregivers, which suggests that while they may view children as social companions, there are also some differences that we need to understand better. So in some instances, the dogs match the behavior of the adult caretakers more often than they did with the children. So this is not even a conclusive study. It's just word salad. Nothing's conclusive. And you can see Their goal is to project dogs and children as social companions. Dogs do not view children as social companions. They view them as competition. This is according to your own behaviorists. They view them as pack members. According to your own experts, a pack member is not a social companion. That's a potential attack victim. Dogs in packs fight each other. That's a normal thing in dog packs to establish dominance, and they can do it at any moment, including your child. It doesn't matter that you have the child feed the dog. That's not going to guarantee that dog won't attack that child, because the dog understands that that child is beneath you, the adult. So it understands that the child is still not the alpha and may one day challenge that child for its rank in the pack. Again, this is a recipe for disaster. The environment these people create is designed to ensure that kids are mauled. Social companions. Dogs are the enemies of children. They view them as prey, as something to attack, just to attack. Just like dogs attack all other animals just to attack and kill them. Just for sport. Quite often, they look at kids the same way. Okay, don't try to argue with me on that. The only people who try to argue with me on that are people who just found my channel for the first time with the video they're listening to now. You better go to my Twitter. You better take your time and go look at these videos. Every video you see, these kids are not provoking these dogs. Dogs see them, go straight after them and attack them. The way that they attack them lets you know how they view them, because they attack them in the same way they attack other small animals. It's a dominance issue. They attack them just to establish dominance. That's animalistic behavior, because what are dogs? That's inhumane behavior, and that should be what you expect. Now, pay attention here. Wake up. Everybody here in class, wake up. I run this channel not like a dictator. I run this channel like a social group, because I mess up and make mistakes all the time. And then I have to come back here and correct myself. A lot of people will correct me in the comment section, and I make sure to come back and correct myself. Now understand, this was published February 2021. That's very important. February 2021. Okay. Why would they write an article like this in February 2021? Do you think this is an appropriate article to write in February 2021? Do you understand this is about exactly 1 year after the COVID lockdown? Okay, the COVID lockdown was early 2020, right? March 2020. By April, we were all locked down. As we all know, that year 2020, dog attacks skyrocketed. Dog attacks on kids and everybody went through the roof. So why on earth, after that happens, after that increase takes place, why on earth would such a reputable outlet like phys.org, why would an institute like the American Institute of Physics with a $72 million budget, with over 120,000 scientists, engineers, and educators, why after a year after COVID lockdown, would you publish an article like this? Do you know how irresponsible, how reckless that is? That is so irresponsible. I'm tempted to believe that it was deliberate. It's hard to believe that all of these intelligent people didn't realize how dangerous it is to push a narrative like this. Were you all oblivious to the increase in dog attacks in 2020? By February 2021, which is when this article was published, we had the information. I'll show you an example. This right here. Okay. This was published July 2021. Okay, just a few months after this was published, right? Do y'all know at the end of 2020, they had the information that dog attacks has skyrocketed? Look at this. Conclusions. The number of family dog bites in children increased in 2020, especially during the lockdown period. Pediatricians should pay a lot of attention now more than ever. Wait a minute. Okay, we should be looking at the same thing here. You see that? To educate parents on the importance of always supervising children who are playing with dogs. I remember this. By December, they were talking about how dog attacks had went through the roof. And they were talking about how it was because of the COVID lockdown. Definitely by January 2021, we had the information on how dog attacks skyrocketed. There was a huge surge. So how could you publish an article like this February, and it's the end of February 25th, 2021. Dogs and kids are in sync. So what are you saying? Dogs and kids are closer now than they've ever been? No, at this point, more kids were being attacked than ever before when this article was published. So this is what is giving the anti-dog crowd momentum. It's their own incompetence to do their job. Y'all should have had researchers doing exactly what I'm doing and publishing the exact opposite type of article that you published here. By the end of February 2021, y'all should have posted an article talking about get your kids away from dogs. They are attacking them at record numbers. Right? As the professionals, that's what you're supposed to be saying. But you notice they operate as if there's, it's pro dog and nothing but pro dog. Here's another one, published by the Wall Street Journal. And this was published March 2023, just a few months ago now, people. March 2023, we were all well aware of the increase in dog attacks on kids. Some of the worst stories we've heard in our life surfaced between 2020 and 2023. And this from the Wall Street Journal. How is it possible? How is it even possible to write such an irresponsible article and it's coming from the Wall Street Journal? Am I supposed to believe they're just oblivious to the huge surge in dog attacks on kids? No, they're fully aware. So you have to wonder if it's by design. You have no choice. You have to wonder if it's intentional. Is this an increase in dog attacks on children by design? Was it the intent? Because if it's not, then what are you doing? If you're innocent, then how on earth did you get this incompetent and ignorant? Before you would write something like this, why wouldn't you first research dog attack statistics to make sure that there's currently not an increase in dog attacks on children? Because that would be a bad time to write an article like this. Now, maybe it's just me. That seemed like it would be common sense. What is going on here? Since 2020, the biggest giants, media outlets, they have only published pro-dog articles. You have anti-dog articles sprinkled here and there. But for the most part, as we all know, well over 95% of them are pro-dog articles. And they're going hard body with this. Let me show y'all something else. This is real dangerous. Now, I talk about bully breeds, and I'm going to keep talking about bully breeds. This is from dogsbestlife.com, and they're talking about children and dogs. Children and dogs benefit when they grow up together. This was published September 2021, well after the surge in dog attacks. Yet another media outlet pushing the pairing of kids and dogs. Well, when you scroll down here, they have this section right here. They say before you become a dog owner, you should research child-friendly dogs. Says while there are similarities, no two dog breeds are the same, and each has its own inherent characteristics going back millennia. I'm reading from the article, people. Continuing on, says some dogs were historically bred to hunt, others to herd sheep, and so on. And because of these built-in personality traits, some breeds are naturally friendlier towards children than others. Don't take any chances or go with your gut. Do your research before pairing kids and dogs. Wow. Didn't they just admit that breed matters? That there is such a thing as breed-specific behavior? That some breeds, as they put it, are naturally friendlier towards children. And that's another way of saying that some breeds are naturally more aggressive than others. There it is right there. Now, not long ago, I think it was like two 2 or 3 live streams ago, I said that if you let dog lovers talk long enough, they're going to incriminate themselves. They're going to build a case of why dogs should be banned themselves. Because dogs are so inappropriate for human society, for our civilization. You can't talk about them at all without running into why they shouldn't be here. Okay, it is raining. I don't know, maybe y'all can hear the rain in the background. It is currently raining. Do y'all see that? Some were historically bred to hunt, it says. Others to herd sheep. Some were bred to attack, to fight, and to love it, to get off on it. There is no way to argue that that breed should be a pet. That just does not make logical sense. There's no way. And if you read their material, they admit it themselves quite often. So what more do we need to talk about? Why are you removing any type of bully breed ban when you have information like this out here? Information that we all know, by the way. Nobody needed to tell any of us this. That goes for the dog lovers, the pit nutters. Wow. But this idea of socializing dogs is nonsense. And this propaganda that I've gone over, published by these big media outlets, it is designed to brainwash people and to get them, to encourage them to make sacrifices. That's the purpose. It's to encourage people to sacrifice their children to dogs. That's what it is. Not long ago, I shared a video on my original channel. This video right here. And I want y'all to look at how cultish this is. Primarily because of how unnecessary it was to bring a child around this dog. Whoa, 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 whoa.
This thing is bigger than ours. He is. Yeah, he's huge. Wow. How many?
The title is Powerful Rottweiler. What was the point in bringing the child into the frame? What was the point in having the child walk up and pet it? The point was that is part of the ritual. It's mandatory in this cult. Let's show a sacrifice. That's what it. That's all it is. If you want to average this, I think this is a kennel. Yeah, this is a kennel club, a kennel business, a place where they breed and sell Rottweilers. So they want to advertise a Rottweiler for sale, that's up for sale or whatever, or advertise the type of, okay. So all you need to do is show the Rottweiler. Isn't it enough to have an adult, this woman, stand there with the dog? No. We have to bring a child into the frame. Let's endanger a child. That was the purpose. And all the pit nutters got this cheap thrill out of seeing that. This is all it is. A very weird, sick, demonic thrill. That was so unnecessary and irresponsible and reckless. This behavior is so unnatural that you really don't have to explain it. Everybody, even dog lovers themselves, they know this is insanity. And that's why our movement is so attractive. It is incredible to see such insanity so normalized. But y'all need to be objected to. Just complete. Like, why would you encourage this type of behavior? Why would you want somebody to see you do this? Then maybe they do the same thing. And then that dog, their dog, mauls that child. All because they were inspired by your video. How can you feel comfortable setting examples like this? Like I said before, some kids have YouTube channels. It does not bother you. Some of them will come across this video and say, oh, okay, giant Rottweilers are safe. So that giant Rottweiler I see when I walk to school, I can go up and pet it because this is the only thing that's going to happen. It's like people don't even know how to think or function or live like an adult. Just a basic responsible adult. That's part of our responsibility, people, as adults. Set examples of safety, safe lifestyles. It's the same basic goal as all other living creatures. Protect your existence so that you can live as long and be as healthy as possible. You don't jeopardize your safety, especially not the safety of your family or your neighbors, other people. And if you do sacrifice your safety or the safety of your family, it should be because it's necessary to take the risk, to take the chance. You know? Maybe there's a small hole that only a tiny child could fit through. And on the other side of the wall, there's, $100 million. Or maybe it's the key to turn off a bomb that's about to go off. Yeah, in situations like that, you have to make a sacrifice. Maybe there's a dog over there and you have to risk the kid getting eaten up by the dog. Say, hey, kid, when you get through this hole, run and grab the key and run back through the hole before a dog gets you. Sacrificing your child in a situation like that would make sense. Because it's either that or you all die. But to sacrifice your child for nothing, for a cheap, personal, emotional thrill, you are a lunatic. You're a lunatic. And I'm going to talk about this stupid socializing of these dumb, abnormal dogs. It makes me so sick. This you must socialize it. But I cannot think of any living conditions in America for a dog where it would not interact with people. As controlled as America is with dogs, I've seen dogs, dogs are not stray for long. Not in this part of the country. I've seen people stop in the middle of traffic and get out and protect a stray dog until the warden come pick it up. Not these nutters. They'll stop whatever they're doing. They could be on the way to have a baby. They see a dog out there, that baby gonna have to wait. Just have to be born right there on the spot. They're gonna stop for that dog. Dogs are always around people, whether it be in the shelter, because their idea is that, and they say it in this article, one of these articles, they're saying that if a dog is only around one person its whole life, then it'll only be comfortable around that one person. That's their logic. But when is a dog ever only around one? That never happens. In shelters, they're around multiple people. Out in the real world, they're around multiple people. Where else do they exist in this country other than the shelters and in people's homes? What are you talking about? And even if they're just walking through the neighborhood, they're seeing multiple people. That's exactly where you suggest people take their dog to socialize them, out in the world to look at multiple people. So it no matter if they're in people's home, in a shelter, or a stray roaming through the community, dogs always see multiple people, always. So there's no such thing as a dog in this country that is not socialized. Shut up. Oh, I'm so sick of you nutters. Shut up. Shut up. There is no such thing as a dog in the United States that is not socialized. Even those dogs in Detroit that were stray, they said multiple people would go feed them. Stray dogs see people all the time. Shut up. Your dog nuttery rhetoric is so goofy. It is so pathetic and worthless and low IQ. And I'm talking about the rhetoric that comes from your most prestigious institutions. This is why media outlets will pay attention to us, because this is juicy. You got everyday people just completely exposing the incompetence of, really, the American Institute of Physics. What is wrong with y'all? Is it y'all have that much difficulty getting something right or doing something right? And get this, when you take your dog out to socialize it, to just let it look at people, they tell you to bring treats with you. And when the dog sees people, they tell you to hurry up and give the dog some treats. That way, the dog associates the sight or presence of people with treats. So it won't attack people if it's looking for treats, right? Okay, what if one day there are no treats around? Huh? What then? They say in this article, they say, hey, when you go to pet a dog, make sure you pet it in a place where it can see your hand, like under its chin. when all the dog's going to do is focus on your hand and try to sniff it to see if there's food in it. They're not trying to get your scent. They're sniffing for food. Dogs don't care about your scent. And when they want to get your scent, they sniff your anus. And really, I suspect that they sniff the anus of other dogs because they smell the excrement. And they eat excrement. So they basically smell food. And that's why they focus on the anus of other animals and themselves so much. They smell food. They smell something that they're willing to eat. Nothing about getting no scent. Everything with these things is about eating and food. Nothing sophisticated. They're always trying to make these things complex. The whole goal, if you're doing that, you bring a dog out in public and you have treats with you. We've heard this before. And you give the dog treats when it sees people so that it associates people with treats. What if the treats are not there? Then what? What if when the child reaches out their hand so the dog can sniff it, get their scent? What if the dog, after it realizes there's no food in the child's hand, decides to bite the child's hand, as they have done several times? Yeah, so I'm going to have to do this on a different video. Talking about, if a dog is fearful or aggressive, it needs to be socialized. You're saying you need to distract it from its natural instinct to want to attack people unprovoked. Right? Shout out to somebody, I think it was a former dog trainer, who admitted to that in the comment section. Admitted to, yes, training dogs is all about distracting them from their natural instincts, from what they naturally want to do, which is to attack people unprovoked, attack kids unprovoked. And that is just pathetic. That is completely pathetic. Everything about this dog culture is pathetic. And you all deserve people like us talking about you. You deserve to have a crowd of people like us talking about you and how silly and foolish your nonsense is. Yes, thank you very much. Shout out to everybody able to join me for this live stream. And I hope to see you back on the next as we continue with this crusade.